Isn't it wonderful, this bird? All these birds are born in Alaska, but in winter time, you know, it is very, very cold there. So what to do? They go to Hawaii, but it's far away. It is 4,500 kilometers. On the route, we have no islands, and the bird cannot swim. So we can, in a good way, analyze the energy calculation of this flight. It needs 88 hours or 3.5 days. And the bird flies by day and by night, uninterrupted. And on this picture you see the energy calculation. The bird has an average weight of 200 grams. And 70 grams are fat. This 70 gram is necessary as fuel for flying to Hawaii. Very small, you see, 70 gram only. If the birds would fly alone, they will never come to Hawaii, because it's not enough energy. That's what we see, this curve. 72 hours before coming to Hawaii, the fuel is finished. So all the birds have a very important piece of information. Never fly alone, always fly by V formation. If you fly in V formation, thank you. If you fly in V formation like this, then you serve 20% of energy. And you see, when the birds arrive Hawaii, they have 6.8 gram of fat left. Okay? So on the first day, it's not necessary to look for food. They go to the beach of Waikiki and say good morning to the guests who make holidays in Hawaii. You see, it is very exactly calculated, the complete flight. And an interesting thing is, the young birds are flying separately to the parents. The parents fly first time, and a little bit later, only the young birds fly. They have never seen Hawaii. How can they find the islands? And they must fly very, very exactly. So they need, let me say, a GPS system to find the islands. If they change a little bit the route, they will never come to Hawaii, and so they have to fly 1,000 kilometers more to find another island. So you see, it is absolutely necessary to find the islands during the first flight. The question is, what is the origin of this information? How can they know it and they can do it? Now let me come to another system which needs information. Flamingos move their wings up and down, but their center of gravity maintains its vertical position. You understand, they have very big wings, the flamingos, and we could understand if the wings are moving, the center of gravity of the complete bird would go up and down. It would be normal. But you know, it needs energy to do this. So, for this case, the bird has a very important piece of information for constructing the complete body of the flamingo. If you analyze the flight of the flamingos, so the center of gravity is all the time on the same level. That's very interesting. Or let me come to another interesting thing. It is peacock's fennec out tail. We see the spherical ornaments. And the question also is here, how is it possible? Once again, the process is controlled by information. And that's what I say once again more and more. All details in living systems are controlled by information. Each detail. The construction, the colors, the form, the structure, everything is based on information. Also in this case here, the feathers are extremely colorful, and for each feather, the bird needs the information to construct such a feather. Or another bird, you see, has another program and therefore other colors. Here once again another bird, and it needs another program and so another structure. All these details are different. And now let's have a look to the orchid. You see the structure of the orchid and the colors and the complete structure is based on information. The seed of such an orchid is so small that you cannot see it by our eye. We need a microscope to analyze or to see how small it is. But the complete information for the construction of the flower is installed in this very small seed. And this, what you see here, is a photo from a time when we all had the same view. But now it changed a little bit, as you see. This is during the 4 weeks. And what we see here is all details are constructed by information. Nothing is working here by a random process, not the smallest detail. All details are programmed. It's a very, very complex program, but nowadays, no scientist has understand this program which controls it. Now I have spoken, showed you many examples which are working with information. Now the important question is, what is information? Can we say what it is? Now the American mathematician Werner said, information is information, neither matter nor energy. That was a good statement. It is not matter, not energy, and so he wanted to say, it is not a material entity. That's correct. But he didn't tell us what information is. So it was our doing to find out what information is. I studied many years to find out the right definition for information and also the laws of nature about information. I'm an information scientist, and so it was my work to do this job. One question here, is this information or not? What do you think? Yes or no? Yes. You say yes. Oh, that's good. You say, someone say no. All are correct if you say yes or if you say no. Why? It was a long time in history, nobody knows what it is. Nobody could read it. Some centuries ago, it lost what it means. But it changed when the soldiers of Napoleon found this Rosetta Stone, and on this stone we see 3 languages. Here's a Greek language, text in Greek language, and here you see the hieroglyphs. And the scientists said, maybe it is the same information on the stone in 3 languages, but in different codes. They could understand the Greek text, and so they had a long research to find out the meaning of the hieroglyphs. But it was possible to decode the hieroglyphs, and nowadays, if you are going to Egypt, and the guides who are helping the tourists can explain all the hieroglyphs which are in the graves and the obelisks and so on. Now we are sure the hieroglyphs are real information. It is a different code from our code. Maybe your code here in Japan is more complex than this. We can speak about this. It would be interesting for me. Now let me come to the definition of information which I found. If we say we have 5 levels of information, then we have a good definition. And this definition, what you see here, allows us to formulate laws of nature. That was my main idea, to find a definition of information which allows to describe laws of nature. The same thing we have also in physics. First of all, it was necessary to define what energy is. And after the physicists know what energy is, they could write down the law of energy. So it's necessary to find the right definition of information. Now you see the statistics, it's not so important for us, the syntax. In all languages we have a syntax. If we read a book, we are interested in the meaning, that is what we call semantics. We have seen the working machine and all the details in living systems. They are working, they are doing some details, and that's what we call pragmatics. And we know as information science, each program, what will be constructed, has always a purpose. And so we call this word apologetics, and that means the purpose of this. So, if we have an unknown system and want to analyze, first of all, we have to see, is it information by this definition? And so we look at the system, do we find all 5 levels which are shown here?